essentially raping that man. You taking away his choice of his sexual, you know what I'm saying, his sexual choice. And you can delve even deeper in terms of religion. You see what I'm saying? You're taking all that away from that person and stripping them down. Because when a woman gets raped, she's still alive. And when you do whatever you do with that tranny, you know what I'm saying? You still alive too, but a part of you's been taken away. And so you can't support, anti-rape and the rape culture and blah, 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 but think Lil Duval's an animal, because the same person would be like, I felt like killing the person that raped me. If we hear that, that's just regular. We like, baby, I understand, you don't have to do all that. Lil Duval says, man, same situation. If I get raped by a tranny, I'm trying to kill him. But how's that wrong? So what's wrong with society?
Very true.
Well, let's explain the Lil Duval situation to people that don't know. So Lil Duval was
that's what I was about to say.
He was on the Breakfast Club last week, and they asked him if he met a girl and they had sex, and he found out that lady was a transgender, what would he do? And Duval said that the transgender would be dead. He'd kill him. That was it, end of story. And was he wrong to say that, or was he right? That's the question.
I mean, it's not. I personally don't think it's like a wrong or right. I think that's how he feels. So, I mean, he's entitled to say that.
I'm pro-choice. You should have the right to make that decision for yourself.
Right. I'm definitely with you, man. All jokes aside, for real. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, how's that not illegal? Like, if it's illegal for Usher not to tell broads that he got the herpes and infecting people with the herpes, because he's supposed to disclose that on the front end, how is that not illegal to disclose? You should have to disclose that.
And Duval didn't say.
I was like, how's that? That's what I was about to say. How is that any different from anybody that deals with somebody and that person lies to them is gonna feel some kind of way about it, regardless of if you are transgendered or in a heterosexual relationship or whatever. If
he didn't say kill all transsexuals.
If somebody lies to you, just like you just said, Lance, about having an STD or whatever, you're gonna feel some kind of way regardless. So for them to isolate for the LGBTQ whatever community to try to isolate this as he hates transgender, this is a transgender thing. No, this is a you lied to me thing.
Right.
This is not about that.
Gotcha.
This is about being deceived. It's about being deceived.
So a lot of them are going into, well, he didn't have to say murder. So I equate that with the same women and people who say that would in the same breath be like, I'll kill my husband if they cheating. But let's do it like if somebody broke into my house, right, and I shot them. Now you can still be a crook and be rehabilitated. So nobody would really blame me for shooting a person for invading my house, but it would still be unfortunate at the same time that this person died because of the decision that they made.
Yeah.
Now I value my body. I value my body more than I value my home. Yeah. So if you invade my body, and in the same breath I can't say, okay, I'm about to kill you, and then it's still unfortunate. Like it could have played out different, but you got to see why. And you know what I'm saying? In the situation, they're not holding anybody accountable. You can't just do whatever makes you feel good, because that's what's wrong with society now. Everybody's transgender. Everybody's doing whatever that makes them feel good. So that's the most selfish thing you could do, because it makes you feel good to be treated like a woman. You're not going to tell the man and then expect no consequence.
Facts.
Bogus.
I agree with everything you just said. I mean, I think it puts it in perspective. You see it from a different.
It does, but just looking at it from that different perspective, just for the sake of argument and for the dialogue, they never saw themselves as male, even though the birth certificate may say born male.
But did they see a penis? Did they ever see a penis on themselves?
I understand that, Lance, but it doesn't matter. They feel like that was a mistake. Like they were born in the wrong body. Like to understand the psychology behind it, they really feel as though they were born in the wrong body. Like right now, how you're feeling right now, we're of course all heterosexual males. So imagine waking up tomorrow and you got breast and a vagina. You'd be like, what the?
But naturally, that's not going to happen, though, right? Well, all I'm saying is that naturally,
of course, it's not going to happen. But just trying to get you to understand it, like even potentially understand it, because there's still a lot of stuff about it I don't understand, and I'm okay with not understanding it. Like I'm okay with not understanding all of it.
They don't feel like it's necessary, to piggyback off what Mike's saying. They don't feel like it's necessary to tell somebody hey, I used to be a man, because they never identified with being a man.
Then they shouldn't feel like it. They shouldn't feel a certain way if they get these hands. Then for not telling people that.
So my thing is this: what they doing, what the community is doing now is they using Lil Duval as a scapegoat to amplify the voice that they wish they had for the actual hate crimes. Because it has been a string of hate crimes towards transgenders for no reason, but they use this profile, that one little situation, as a springboard to get their message out, even though it completely did not even relate. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I think they were doing.
Go ahead, Lance.
I said my whole thing is that I get everything that you're saying. I get it from a psychological standpoint, like how way they see themselves. But at some point, you know, if they're getting to that spot in a relationship where it's about to go down, you're like, there's something I need to tell you first. You know, I know that we've been doing all this and spending a lot of time together. However, I used to be a man, or I used to be a woman, and I want you to know that. So if you're still comfortable with it,
but the thing is, there are some that actually do that. There are which makes it exponentially worse for those that do not.
And they're probably still living. And those are the ones that are still living and don't have beat up and not getting beat up. So
yeah. So
that's true. And
the whole movement.
And we talked about this.
What?
And we talked about this too before on the podcast when we talked about comedians, and comedians kind of having a little more leeway with what they say and do, because they're comedians. They're always going to push the line on what they say. They say stuff for shock as well. Now,
but that was some real shit though.
Did Lil Duval mean that? Yeah, Lil Duval probably there was some truth behind what he said, but there's also you also have to look at the aspect too that Lil Duval is a comedian. So Lil Duval is going to say stuff to get people riled up. He's going to say stuff to that make people want to talk about something. So do I think he 100% meant it? No. Do I think he probably 60% meant it? Yeah. But there is a comedic aspect to what he said as well. So what Han was saying, for them to pick that up and try to put that as the face of it, be like, look, this is what people are saying about us. This is how they whatever. It's just it's so fake. It's so for them.
It's like the fake outrage.
But let me piggyback off that though, because I think if the non-transgender who are batting for the transgenders really cared about them, they wouldn't put their energy into berating Lil Duval or statements or words. They would put their energy into educating transgenders on the world they're living in and push for disclosure. They'd be like, look guys, like you got to disclose, like, but everybody want to have everything all their way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, because that's the safest way to be. Because you're not going to change the nature of heterosexual men out here. You're just not going to.
My thing is, I think is what, to the point of everything that we've said, is that at first, for the incident with Bobby V, I felt bad for the dude because he got it. You know, Bobby V tried to dip out without paying.
Wait, and that Bobby V or the transgender?
The transgender.
You said the dude. It was two dudes in the situation.
I felt bad for the transgender. Man. I felt like the transgender got taken advantage of. And I didn't feel
the transgender had his square reader out, and Bobby talking about I ain't got no card.
He didn't have his coin right, like the thing said. And I felt.
You know what you're sleeping on is I still feel bad for the transgender because I believe Bobby V knew, man.
Yeah, he did.
Look at the supporting evidence after the fact. He knew.
Yeah,
he knew. Yeah. He knew what Bobby it was.
Bobby V was trying to dine and dash.
Right. Smash and dash.
So I came out of that feeling like Bobby V was a scumbag. Not that the dude was nasty because he's a trans.
Right.
Whatever.
Right. And I still feel like Bobby V is a scumbag. I still feel that way.
You think you're dealing with Bobby V.
You
think you're going to get a tip on top of the service.
You got to pay for performance. If you go to a restaurant and you get a bad meal, you just got to chalk it up. You still going to pay the tab.
Right.
You're just not going to tip. You're just not going to tip.
Man, Bobby,
you might not tip or whatever, but it is what it is. So Bobby was trying to get over.
So T people don't come for us because we felt bad for him that he got taken advantage of. Right. Bobby V didn't pay his tab and he tried to dip out. But within the same 24-hour cycle, I agreed with what Lil Duval said as well, and you can have it both ways on our end. So let's move along.
But those are two.
To all you high price call guys, get the money first.
Get the money
first.
Hold on,
before we move up. Views.
Wait, hold on. Say it loud. Say that again, Ralph.
I said those are two. I said what Lance said those are two mutually exclusive views.
Yep.
That you
right.
You can't sandwich those together. So like we just said, we obviously are all on the side of the transgender person that was in the Bobby V situation.
But
yet the other Lil Duval thing is about disclosure. That's a whole different
thing.
And deception. Yeah.
That's not about not accepting or not liking transgender people. That's about disclosure.
Bobby knew because he heard that thing talk, and the first time I heard it talk, I knew it was a man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Don't forget your shoes.
Man, you saw that.
And your keys.
Don't forget your shoes, Bobby. Bobby Valentino.
Yeah, come on, Bobby. You ain't...
Right. You tripping over Jordans and talking about another dude in here, and he's like, no.
Like, right.
Bobby V saw that size 11 shoe and knew it wasn't his.
11?
He's probably salty.
He couldn't
even wear it. He was probably salty, too, because he couldn't even wear them shoes that Bobby V left behind.
Right.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question. So our boy Steve Kennedy, shout out to SK, he put something if a man fights a transgender person, is it a fair fight?
Start over. You got to start all in
over. The bridge or something, man.
Yeah.
Hold up, bro. You got to start over, dog.
Yeah.
Hold up, bro.
Rope was underwater just now, y'all.
I thought SK, he put on Facebook earlier, he said, if a man gets into a fight with a transgender, he said, is it a fair fight, domestic violence, or is it something else when you fight a transgender?
Oh,
what is it?
No,
is that a fair fight?
It's not a fair fight.
That must. Hold on, they built like a man field. Now,
because like a man dispute. Technically, it's a domestic dispute.
No. Well, if this is let's just say it's like a trans in school. You're in the lunchroom and you get in a fight, and the other one is a trans. That's not domestic. That's just a fight. That's man against man.
Talking about the reason why I say
if you're dating, then domestic.
Add a little bit more to it. Is it a transgender male to female? Like, is it a transgender male meaning a female turn into male? Or
we basically doing like the male to he's doing the male to female in this example because that's the two examples he's been dealing with this week. So
Bobby V fighting the transgender female. So Bobby V fighting
that hasn't completed.
Like they duking it out in the hall.
They haven't completed their full transition.
Oh, it's domestic.
No,
it's domestic.
Oh, hold on now, because
is it a fair fight?
Because that transgender person, yes, they have reassigned. That just sounds so weird to me.
I know.
If you become a woman,
I don't know what to think.
Become a woman, but let's just say this dude, when he was a dude, was 6'2".
Yeah, it can whoop ass.
Whatever. Like your physical stature isn't changing.
Right.
So,
dude is taller than Bobby. Dude is bigger than Bobby.
He might can beat Bobby's ass. That's what I'm saying.
About to say, I'm supposed to let this transgender person just like pummel me or something because it's a woman now. Like, come on now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No sir.
I just think it's a fight.
But it would still be domestic. That's no different than like
how's it
Big
domestic?
Shirley for what's happening fighting Raj.
How's it domestic?
She's super big, but she's still gonna probably kick his ass. But it's still domestic, male against female.
So y'all gonna break in and stop that shit? Y'all be like, don't be hitting on that woman like that.
When you fighting, you gotta be like, every time you swing, you be like, it's a dude.
Yep.
But
every time you swing, it's a dude.
Hey, but you know what the homie's gonna say if the transgender person wants it. Man, that girl.
That's why it's a fight. But Ham, I want you to ask your wife from a legal standpoint, if it's not fully reassigned, is it still considered a man? Just because you think you're a woman don't mean you're a woman. So legally, if I punch a trans, and I'm not saying I am, I'm just saying hypothetically, and it hadn't fully converted yet, it's two men fighting.
What do you mean fully converted? You mean they have breasts? They have everything.
No, you mean
hormones. They got to be a woman.
You talking about hermaphrodite?
Look, you got to channel your Johnny Cochran, man. If the ball's hanging, I'm swinging. That's it. You said it not fully.
There you go. There you go. And that's what I'm saying. That should be the standard. It shouldn't be no domestic because technically,
But if he butterflied that thing, you can't.